Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead. Let's plant sweet potatoes for in the house. What I have here is two 5-gallon buckets, and in the bottom of these I have about 2.5 to 3 inches of crushed stone. Now I've never done this before, folks, so we're just going to try it because I'm getting an abundance of shoots from my sweet potato slips I started, and I'll explain those to you when I get in the house. But all I have here is black garden soil, and I'm just going to mix it in layers with some organic potting soil that I have, because I would have loved completely organic potting soil, but the hardware store was out. Being July, it's that time of year. Now, if this works, I will try planting sweet potatoes in the greenhouse next year in probably April. But my slips took so long for me to get things going that there's no way I can plant these in the greenhouse and expect them to grow, because guess what, folks? I live in Canada. And I live in Quebec, Canada. Here's some, yes, you see the name Miracle-Gro, but folks, this is organic. We're just gonna, oh, that smells lovely. Well, if you know what nice earth smells like. And it looks like we're only gonna need 1 bag of this soil. But you know what? It'll get used elsewhere. So, once I have this all mixed up. Now, one of the most important, apparently a couple of the most important things about sweet potatoes is heat and drainage. That's why we have the gravel in the bottom of these buckets. Now, maybe I can lift this now. Oh! And top this up. Yeah, it's only going to take 1 bag for both because I have the organic potting soil too. You don't want this overflowing, but if you're going to be putting this in a window, you want it fairly level to the top, for the simple reason, well, maybe not this level, not this deep. Now, I'm going to be putting this in my window well and my bay window, which gets sunlight all year, but it doesn't get enough. So I'm going to get Howie to put a couple of grow lights eventually. As the days shorten, I'm going to get him to put a couple of grow lights over top of these buckets so that we can give them as much light and heat as possible through the winter months. And did you know that the stems and the leaves of sweet potato plants are edible? I did not know that. Alright, we'll see you guys in the house. Okay, here's one of the potatoes that I had in this bowl, and it didn't do well as a whole potato. The water, even though I changed it, it went moldy and nasty. So what I did was I cut the top off the potato and set it in this bowl of water, and it seems to have done much, much better. Now, the other potatoes had gone all mushy, but they had done some wonderful sprouting. So I just put them in this little jar of water and they got roots. Now, you want to laugh? These were in my potato bin. I have this new potato bin that is wooden and that has holes in it for ventilation, and these sweet potatoes have just gone apeshit. I mean, crazy. And I have never been able to sprout sweet potatoes, but look at this. So I'm going to put some roots on these. Look at all these. Look at them all. Let's get these into the dirt. Okay, I've separated my sweet potato slips, and we're going to put them in our prepared buckets. And what's going to happen is my son is going to take these out to the greenhouse, and these are going to go in the greenhouse until the weather starts getting cold. Some people will lay sweet potato slips right down on the earth, but there's some greenage on here, and I've already got some dirt on them because I was figuring out where I wanted them to go in the bucket, and then forgot I was wasn't recording. So we've got enough slips in from this tiny little jar to, like this one hasn't even leafing yet, but it's got lots of roots. So I'm just going to put, I've got 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 slips in here. And let's do one more in the center. And let's do the other bucket. I'm going to have sweet potato slips coming out the woohoo. And even though there is, if you see, even though there is leaves here coming, there's roots going all along the slip. And that's why a lot of people will just lay the slip on the dirt. But I'm going to, of course, give them a little bit of coverage there. It's hard to believe that that little jar held enough slips for 2 buckets. Now, I could put more in, probably, but I've never done this before, and what I don't want the potatoes growing down and then crowding each other out so that we don't get any big ones. So I'm just going to plant, 4 or 5 little slips in here. Now let's water them. And I'll call my son in a minute to go and put these out in the greenhouse. You want your roots to be well moistened so that there is no air pockets around the roots. You also don't just want hard dirt. They have to be able to move and grow down into the soil. Okay, now because these are continuing to grow, I'm going to cut the tops off of these and put them in here. But first, I'm going to take these big slips off that have already come on, and I'm just going to set them in a jar to root. And all you do is you go right down to the base and you just pick it off without breaking it. See how I've taken it right out of the meat of the potato? Look! A sweet potato farm. This is the Mrs. Wolfe from Our Half Acre Homestead saying, if I can grow these in the house over the winter, you can bet your bottom dollar I'll be putting some in the greenhouse in mid-April next year. Take care, bye-bye.